Hello!
It's January, which means it's the beginning of the year. That's how years work. It's the first month of the year. There's 12. Let's just get to the point. We're going to look at 12 months of games that are coming out. Just 5 though. Just the 5 biggest ones that I'm looking forward to. Just me. But you might like them too. Since it's only January, we don't actually know what's coming out this year. In 2 months, they might announce an amazing game that's going to be my favourite game of all time. But right now, all we have is the information we have. It's here. There it is. Do you like it? So it'll just be a quick overview of what I think looks amazing that's coming out this year. And we're going to start with number 5 on the list. Bring up the penguin.
Number 5!
Games are really getting to that point now where graphics are just getting too much. They're so realistic, even in unrealistic worlds. The trees, the water, the wind, the skies, the weather, it's all starting to just get better and better. And the game that I'm talking about now is Ghost of Tsushima. It's a game coming out where you play as one of the last samurais in early Japan. I think it's late 1200s. And although we haven't seen much of it yet, we saw a big gameplay video a couple of E3s ago, and just last month we got a big trailer at the Game Awards. We haven't seen much of it, but it's definitely going to be one of the contenders for Game of the Year, I think, by the looks of it. I don't think it's going to come out because it looks amazing. The combat looks so cool. It reminds me of a game series on the PS2 called Way of the Samurai. It's kind of the same thing. You're just wandering about as a samurai and being a samurai, doing samurai things. It looks really reminiscent of a Japanese samurai movie from the 1950s. And everything about it just seems so intricate that even the combat looks so thoughtful and precise, just like samurais were. Everything was just, you've got to pick your spots for when you're going to samurai someone's face off. So yeah, I think it's going to be good. Samurais, stab.
Number 4!
This game was only announced a month ago, less than a month ago at the Game Awards, which is mad. If I'd made this video just a couple of weeks ago, this wouldn't even be on here. One day, we don't know a game's going to exist, and the next, it does. There it is. It's Bravely Default 2. I've been waiting for them to announce this pretty much all last year. Every Nintendo Direct there was, at E3, every time there was anything, I was waiting for either the new Octopath Traveler or the new Bravely Default. Now, for those of you that don't know, Bravely Default 2 is a turn-based JRPG. The first two, I'll get to it. The first two were on the 3DS. There was Bravely Default and Bravely Second, which was a direct sequel to Bravely Default, and then Bravely Default 2, which is the third Bravely Default game to come out. It looks to be a brand new world, so that's why it's called Bravely Default 2. So Bravely Default, Bravely Second, those two are kind of together, and Bravely Default 2 is the new one. As someone who is somewhat new to turn-based games, Bravely Default was one of the first games I played in the turn-based JRPG genre, and I absolutely fell in love with it because it takes the turn-based classic JRPG thing and it kind of messes with it a bit, and it changes things here and there, and it just streamlines the whole situation. The Bravely Default system works like this. Usually in games like this, it's back and forth, and you've got to use your strategy, you've got to use your turn wisely and build a strategy from there. With Bravely Default, you can actively choose not to have a turn, and these will give you things called Bravely Points, or BP, meaning when your next turn comes around, you can either choose to store another turn, or you can spend them, so you can do it up to, I think it's like 5 times, and then you can just have 5 goes all at once, and this really cool risk-reward mechanic that ends up being really satisfying in certain situations, especially if you're up against a big boss, and he's just... and you've got all these points stored between 3 different characters, and then you all just attack the guy. It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm just really glad there's still turn-based RPGs coming out, because someone's too good for turn-based RPGs now. Final Fantasy VII.
Number 3!
Final Fantasy VII! I got you. You thought I was mad at it, but I'm actually not. Final Fantasy VII Remake looks fantastic. This could have easily ended up on my list of games that I think are going to fail. Easily. But last year we got a bunch of showcases. They showed us a new trailer with new character models that look more like they should. We got huge showcases on gameplay. They've managed to mix the ATB system, which is kind of the turn-based Final Fantasy system, and real-time combat from like Final Fantasy 15, and they've done that, and now they're kind of existing together in this weird real-time game where you can pause time and take your shots, and it just looks amazing. Just look at that. Look at this crazy fight. I'm so excited for it. It looks incredible. The boss fights look like they go on for ages, which reminds me of like classic shonen anime battle series where you just mash at the person for ages and they keep on transforming and changing it into different versions of itself, and you've got to change your strategy, and then it just gets more epic and epic. It just looks really good, and there's a demo coming out any day now. Literally, the demo is leaked onto the internet and people are actually playing it and filtering through the actual game to find bits of the game that aren't available on the demo. I could be playing this tomorrow for all I know, and I'm just so excited.
Number 2!
This was actually on my list last year, which is a bit strange because last year it was the most anticipated games of 2019, and 2019 has come and gone. And why is it on my list this year? I really thought that it was coming out last year, and I just took my shot and I was wrong. I'll never do that again, but now it's on again, and this time we have a release date, and even though it got moved. But we are getting it this year, so it's fine to be here this time. I'm not going to be here next year going, Last of Us 2 again. It's Last of Us 2, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that. We've got more gameplay of it. We've got more context to situations. It's one of the most beautifully written things of all time. Not just in games, just everything. It was beautifully acted by Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson. I want to play it.
Number 1!
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. Breath of the Wild 2 is what we're calling it at the moment because it's a direct sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It hasn't been announced yet. I'll never do that again. So, yeah, I'm doing it again. But I'm pretty sure it's coming out this year. I mean, look, listen, it's almost been 3 years since Breath of the Wild came out. This is a direct sequel, which means they're using the same assets. It looks like they're kind of using the same world as well. Obviously, I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure some of it's going to be set there. The mechanics are there, they just need to add on to them. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a Mario Galaxy 2 situation where they wanted to make a bunch of DLC and then realised, actually, we can just make a full sequel. And they announced it last year, and I know that The Legend of Zelda has a track record of delaying games. Breath of the Wild got delayed so many times. I'm pretty sure that was meant to come out in 2014 and it came out in 2017. That's a big gap in between those release dates, but they were making a Nintendo Switch and they had to move it over because the Wii U wasn't exactly the most successful console in the world, although underrated it is. Probably my favourite game of all time. It's just an absolute masterclass in how to make games. Every single inch of that world was designed the way it was meant to be. It's not like bloody Skyrim, like they stuck a bunch of things in a can and just went, blah, there's the game. Does it work? I don't know, maybe. You've fallen through a cliff. 80 quid, please. Everything in this game was just so well put together. Nintendo do that. All their games are so polished, and I absolutely cannot wait to play this new one. I don't know what else to say. I could ramble on about how good Breath of the Wild is, but it would kind of defy the point of the video. But I've mentioned this before. There's just Zelda stuff everywhere. Hello, and I'm
so excited for it.
And there we go. Thank you for watching my top 5 nonsense about how games are coming out. So yeah, let me know what your top 5 games are. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know what you're not looking forward to. There's a bunch of rubbish coming out this year as well. But let's focus on good things for now. We're doing good things. There's the subscribe button in this circle here. Doesn't that work well? Hopefully, if I'm standing in the correct position. There's a thing here and a thing here. Click on it and I'll give you time. I'll just stand off to the side here and let you choose one. That's a good one. This is pretty funny, that one. And oh, this is good as well. This was, you know, a video I made. And then if you want more